everyone, this is Nalini, and today I'm bringing to you the series that we're calling Research at MDI. MDI does extensive research in the field of business and management, which has been done by both students and faculty, and today we aim to bring to you the same in a more curated and concise manner. So today we have Professor Abhishek Behl, who's been working extensively in the field of gamification, to share his few thoughts on the same. Hi sir, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
So just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. What is gamification and how is it relevant in the field of business?
So gamification in the more layman language is using game elements into a non-game context. So understand business as a non-game context. So if I pick up any game element as simple as rolling a die into a business kind of a situation or a business case scenario, that would be considered gamification. There are different forms of gamification, which could be both online and offline. When we talk to businesses, we often tell them that if your business is more towards an online setup, try to borrow game elements from the digital space, but offline gamification equally works well.
You talked about both online and offline modes of business gamification, and I also do know that now we are using gamification in the field of business strategy. So could you just take us through a few use cases maybe?
So look at any company at the moment. So the current COVID-19 has actually changed the ongoing strategies of all the companies. While the companies wanted to be digital always, the current COVID-19 has forced them to be digital. And because they are now in the digitized space, gamification becomes one of the more prominent cases wherein they can start using it to engage their customers very well. So let's take a simple example of understanding Reliance. Now Reliance has been in the market for quite some time. Telecom was always its space. They have recently entered into something called Reliance Jio Stores. Now how are they changing the way people would perceive the online space of buying things? So Amazon was always a market leader, but that was global market leaders. They want to start at an India level and then probably go global. And gamification has actually helped them understand their customers far better than they used to do before they started off or even thinking of their digital stores.
Also, you were talking about using gamification in the area of e-commerce. So can it be used to probably understand customer persona in a sense?
That's an interesting question actually. So what we usually look at in gamification is understanding people, but not from the lens of only personas, and we call those as gamer types. So everybody who is a customer today is coming from a different personality, and as we say, gamer types, depending on what gamer type you are, the companies are trying their best to leverage upon those depending on the type of game elements they are using.
Also, another question that I wanted to ask you is, how could gamification be sort of leveraged by students and upcoming entrepreneurs, and how can they make use of this technology to better themselves in the business space?
So students has always been the center stage for learning, and because even at MDI and globally, we are all being trained to be athletic. We've always been trained to understand and play games. So right from a mobile game to a sports arena. So what we intend to do is we are requesting students, we are asking students to carry your learnings from those games into the business classrooms, and even then take it forward to the company. And that's exactly the transformation will happen. Right now, we are keeping the jack in studies as well as in play, right? We'd have to merge the two together, and that's the joy of gamification.
The last question that I wanted to ask you about was obviously something that's pertaining to kind of research that you have done over the last few years in the field of gamification.
I've been focusing on three key areas in gamification. Number one is understanding gamification in the crowdfunding platforms. The second area is understanding gamification with the gig economy, which is where the platform economy is all about. And the third area, which is like an interesting one, is how can gamification change the way or the future of work, the way you are working. So I'll quickly briefly talk about the three aspects, and then I think that would be interesting for everyone. Point number A, because we are living in an economy which is more in the shared spaces, right from sharing spaces for work or maybe for money. So how can gamification change people's perception towards donating money, collaborating with the businesses, and helping society at large? Point number A. Point number B is how can gamification change the platform economy? Example, the Ola and the Ubers and the Zomatos of the world, right? That's an interesting space again, because they are not the employees of the organizations, still they drive the organization. So how can a third party help organizations grow when they are gamified? And point number C, which is absolutely interesting, is the future of work is completely maybe in a hybrid space, and the hybrid is yet to be defined. How can gamification engage customers engage employees when they're away, engage customers when they are offline? So all that has to happen, and more so in a fun manner, right? So the fun element should not go away. The engagement can still be there, and more importantly, the underlying and the bottom line for everything is we need to ensure that the customer or the employee is in their comfort zone. So without changing that, if we are able to implement gamification, I think the future is very bright for everyone and all companies for that matter.
So true, sir. That was absolutely informative, and thank you so much for joining us today. Hope to have you again.
Thanks a lot.